everyone, welcome to another episode of Scoop Bar, and today we got Bull again with us to talk about his upcoming project, the Pangea. So welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks. I'm glad to be here talking about Pangea.
Yeah. So last time when we got a chat, it was with a compact ergo with you and Gondo. How did that fulfillment go for you guys?
It was good. So right now they're being manufactured, and actually when I went to China, we talked to the manufacturer, and they kind of showed us some of the behind the scenes and the progress that it was being made. So it's looking to be done in November already. So fulfillment should be before the end of this year.
That's awesome. Yeah. So your trip to China, tell me a little bit more about that. Like, how was the trip overall?
Sure. It was an amazing experience, that's for sure. Something I never would have expected I would be doing, because it's like, it seems such like a foreign trip to go to, but it was amazing. Everybody was super inviting and welcoming, and they made the whole thing just super fun.
Yeah. Did you ever thought, like, when you started designing keyboard, it will take you to China?
Honestly, no. I would have never expected. I would have thought maybe I would go there for vacation, but to go there to visit a manufacturer I'm working with is definitely something I didn't expect.
Yeah. Are you allowed to talk a little bit about the manufacturer you visited?
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So you went to China. You went to visit the STR factory,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
Cool.
so I got to visit STR and Vertex Studio. So, like the people behind the TKD series, the Cycle 7, Cycle 8.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very cool. Did you pick up any kind of fun souvenirs on the trip?
Yeah, so, well, the biggest thing we got, so in China, obviously, tea's a big thing in their culture and just pretty much present
Like
at
sweet
every
tea,
meal.
right?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So we had it like every day, almost every meal. So on the last day, the people from STR took us to a tea shop, so we were able to pick up some of their favorites to bring home.
Yeah. Are you much of a tea drinker or a coffee drinker typically?
Normally here, I definitely prefer coffee, but over there, I have to say tea definitely grew on me.
Yeah. Awesome. What was something that kind of surprised you on the trip? Because I feel like Minnesota and China is a little bit different when it comes to everything.
Yeah, it's definitely a different overall. I don't want to say just culture in general, but like, it was definitely weird being in the big cities, and there was like no police around, or like, I don't know, there was a lot of people, but it didn't feel like any more densely populated than here in a big city, even though the population, like where we were in Shanghai, the population's like, I don't know, like 24 million people, and it's like, it's a lot of people, but it didn't ever feel like we were like crowded.
Yeah, for sure. Any fun, interesting food that you got to try? Like, what are some of the favorite foods you got to try when you're over there?
Sure. Yeah, I really liked, like here, I barely ever eat duck. So like to have the different duck, and STR took us around to try to get a variety of food from different regions of China. So it was cool to try different, even different styles of the same dish. So I definitely like the food a lot.
Yeah. Very cool. Did you have any kind of like lost in translation moment when you're kind of trying to talk to the manufacturer about the compact ergo?
Everybody kind of had an understanding of English, but it wasn't always easy to communicate back and forth. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of talking with your hands, or like actually picking up a keyboard and being like, this is what I'm talking about, and like, this is what we're trying to do. And then also like we had a big whiteboard, so we'd like write stuff or draw stuff. So it was kind of like but we made it work,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So so you got to see the compact ergo while you're over there. What about, did you get to see any kind of prototypes or like the Pangea like manufacturing?
Yeah, one of the other things was cool to see. Actually, we walked into the shop area, where the CNC machines were, and they had a couple of Pangea tops on like the completed shelf, and it was like, ooh, I know what that is. And then another thing we got to see was they had a rapid prototype of the Oblique, which is going to be an upcoming in-stock keyboard. So I hadn't gotten to see it in real life before. That's right. So we can talk more about that later, about future plans. But yeah, I hadn't seen it in real life before. So to see it in real life, they had it built and everything, so I got to try out typing. I was definitely pleased with the results.
That's awesome. So maybe we can like shift a little bit more focus on the Pangea.
Sure.
So Pangea is a full size keyboard, which last night I finally got to get it in person. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to build it yet, but I did get to do a quick sneak peek. You can kind of see it's kind of just chilling behind my head. It's beautiful, by the way. Like,
Oh, thank you.
fantastic job. I can't wait to build it and kind of just see what it sounds like. But I was blown away by the anodization finish on it, the patina, like everything about it looks amazing. So aesthetically, aside, Pangea is a full size keyboard, and something that sets it apart is kind of the adaptability with a numpad. So that feels like it doesn't feel like that's been done very often. Like we've seen Southpaw numpad. I don't think we've seen many swappable numpad honestly until recently, or it become more popular recently. So I'm not a designer, but I'd imagine that seems like a lot of like creative problem solving when it comes to design something like this. It's not as easy as just doing a fixed layout. Were there kind of a moment in the process like where you're thinking, is this even possible? Like to design the Pangea where you can swap the numpad?
Yeah, so I had previously designed 60% with a numpad that was swappable, but in that case, the whole top case could just rotate because there wasn't any like blockers or anything. So like the first problem with the Pangea is like, you have an F-row, like I don't know if you want to call it a blocker, but like, the top case has a lot more space between the keys where you need more material. So it's like you can't just fully swap the thing around. So like I was like thinking about the parts that need to be separated. So you've got the numpad and then the TKL cluster, and those are the two that you have to be able to switch around. So I was like thinking I'm going to split it here, and see how it goes. But like the main problem was getting the mounting to work out, because it's like when you're moving all those things around, you have to have the mounting point still work, obviously. So my first thought was to do something like a repeating symmetrical longer thing, like a pour-on gasket or something. But then to do that, it was interfering with the screws. So it's like, well, I can't do that. So then I was like, oh, let's try something with a little smaller footprint that can be switched around. So then when you're building it, you'll see that there's a lot of extra mounting points. So like where they're being used in Southpaw but not normal, and vice versa. So that was I would say the mounting was definitely the part that I was like, oh, this is going to be difficult.
Yeah. So I did a quick count last night. Like I said, I got it. I was really excited when it showed up. I counted the case is made up of 9 separate pieces, which to me seems like pretty complex.
Yeah, there's
can you
definitely a lot of pieces.
Can you walk us through a little bit about how you approach breaking up the case design to allow the numpad flexibility without sacrificing like the overall aesthetic?
Yeah, so the first, like I was saying in the last question, like I kind of started with the plate, because I was like, we got the TKL plate, numpad plate, and then kind of move up from there. So it's like, okay, we have the TKL plate, we need a TKL frame, so that when we move the TKL plate over, the frame goes with it. Same with the numpad. Okay, so now we've got 2 frames, a top case, a bottom case. So we're already at 4 pieces, right? But then I was like, I originally had it where there wasn't a top frame, but then there was a seam between the numpad and TKL pieces right on the top, like right near eye view. And I was like we're going to have seams even if I add another piece, but at least this way we can do the accent. So like on the one you've got the patina accent, so it's like it distracts you from there being a seam by you having, a pop of color, something like that. So I was like, so that kind of led to why there's the top frame also. And then I was going to only have one weight, but then because of the size of the keyboard, one just external bar weight like that, I didn't think it would provide the sound that I wanted. So then that's why there's that inner brass sheet. So that just kind of helps distribute the sound evenly so the board can have a more even sound across the whole thing.
So you mentioned sound. Like sound and feel are honestly like pretty important factors when it comes to the mechanical keyboard hobby. Like, and you mentioned, I remember you talking about, one of your goals for the Pangea is to replicate a classic top mount feel while maintaining flexibility. How do you balance all these competing goals? Because it seems like usually if to get a good sound you sacrifice feel, and and vice versa. To get a good feel you sacrifice the sound. Like, how did you balance both of those for the Pangea?
Yeah, sure. So I kind of hold all my designs to a standard in sound and feel, and I know myself, if a board it doesn't sound or feel like I like, or I can't find a combination that I like, I'm just not going to end up using it. So I kind of wanted to focus on, a lot of people have different preferences. So the Pangea has the 3 different durometers for the gaskets. So you've got 30, 60, 90. And then that kind of lets people pick what they prefer. So like the 90A is this firmest gasket, so that should most closely replicate a top mount, which the top mount feel starts with the plate. So like the plate's got mounting points that are similar to a top mount, and then the gaskets, they isolate the plate, but then by having the different durometers, it lets you kind of customize it more. So like the 90A will be stiff, should feel more similar to a top mount, but then if you go to 30A, you'll get the whole build can kind of bounce. So it's like users can pick what they like, because I think it's better to have the 3 options than to have one, because then like more people can be satisfied with the build by trying out the different things. And the board comes with all 3 gaskets by default, so like everybody can try it out, and you don't have to buy any extra add-ons or anything. So it should be,
that's great.
Pretty customizable.
Yeah, I mean that's the big part of a hobby, right? It's everyone's got different preferences, So
yeah, exactly.
I really appreciate you kind of accommodating all of that. So to me, one of the biggest selling point for the Pangea is the ability to use both the normal and southpaw layouts. Like, what has been like the response from the community so far? Like, were there any kind of unexpected reactions that you've heard?
Yeah, honestly, the unexpected part for me is just the amount of support and reactions for it. Like, I didn't expect it, because like, a classic thing is the hobby is like, oh, we don't do full sizes. It's like, if you want a full size, you can go to Best Buy or whatever. But it's like, so I was kind of thinking when I started, like, oh, this is going to be just for me, like, probably not many people are going to want it, or not enough people are going to want it where it's worth running, or it's going to be prohibitively expensive. Which is, speaking of prohibitively expensive, that's where I'm glad that I was able to work so closely with STR, because without it, like, the quotes from other places, and just, it wasn't feasible. I mean, it was going to cost like over $1,000. So like,
right,
to work closely with STR to bring it, and then they did the beautiful patina and everything. So it's like, it worked out well in that way. But then also, because of the support behind it and everybody in the community, we were able to get it priced at a higher quantity. So that's also what made it more accessible. So yeah.
No, I love it, because it's like, you're right, there's not many options, when it comes to full size, at least not compared to other layouts, right? Like, yeah. So the fact that we got the Pangea, which arguably is incredibly well like designed and manufactured and everything, it's like a premium full size keyboard. So I love it. And just for people like that are listening, like, why even southpaw? Like, for me personally, I prefer a southpaw numpad layout, just because I prefer my mouse hands to be closer to the centers, and I'm right-handed. So like, having a southpaw layout to me is a lot more comfortable. Like, just everything seems more centered instead of pushing my right hand all the way to the side if it's a normal layout. So, but yeah,
definitely.
So this is the second project that you kind of collabed with Gondo, is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. Well, we've worked, actually it's the third, but the second where we really worked together closely on kind of bringing a crazy idea to our life. So he had designed me the PCBs for the Gias, but that was just a regular 60%. But here, it was my turn to bring him a crazy idea. Because like last time we talked with him with the compact ergo, he kind of came to me with that idea, and I was like, okay, now it's my turn. Now let's make this happen.
Yeah. So how has it been working with like Gondo? Like, has things changed, on this particular project since the Compact Ergo?
Honestly, the only thing that's changed is who's coming up with the crazy idea. Because we've always worked together well, and so like just working with him again is great.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we kind of brought him a crazy. This one was a little more complicated than the Compact Ergo because I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. Can you think of how to do it? And of course, he came up with, in my opinion, like the perfect solution for what we were looking for.
Yeah. So is there something that you both learned from, the first project that helped you approach the Pangea differently?
I think we kind of just learned how we both work. So, but otherwise, it was like we kind of just naturally worked together well. So it was a good experience for both of them.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned the GIOS. I want to make sure I'm getting this right. Recently, you did the GIOS fulfillment.
Yep.
My understanding is you're currently in the middle of the EEAT fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you're also in school?
That's right, yeah. So
And do you also work besides designing keyboards?
No working right now. Like over the summer
Okay.
I did a internship opportunity, but like now it's like school keyboards, that's my life. But yeah, so like the GS fulfillment, I'm luckily was able to get all those out. So there's like 100 of those. And then actually yesterday I dropped off 57 EEATs. And now those are all out the door. So now we're just waiting for extras.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding that correctly. You did 2 fulfillments while in school and did an internship over the summer.
That's right.
Okay. All right, you're that kid that broke the curve for everybody else. Like, you're just an overachiever, huh?
I guess so.
Goodness gracious. And you did this on your own? Like, primarily?
Yeah, I definitely have help. Like Manu, he helps with getting the projects lined up. And then actually for EEAT, 2 of my friends from the Chicago keyboard community came up and helped me out. So it was fun working with them. But yeah, it wouldn't be possible without just me, but I definitely make things happen.
All right. I'm not gonna name any other vendors, but it feels like you're doing more than some vendors I know. That statement might get me in trouble, but it is what it is.
Hey, we gotta have vendors to a certain standard.
Yeah, no, that's a soapbox of mine for sure. All right, so you've done quite a few projects. I know you probably don't like to share this. How many projects and keyboards have you done so far?
Oh man. Well, with designing, including commissions, I think I'm over 150 individual designs.
Okay.
But then as far as fulfilling, I've done quite a few like friends and family group buys. So like I think group buys wise, I've done fulfilled 11 now, with 3 of them being larger public runs, and then the Compact Ergo fulfillment will be soon. But yeah, I've definitely done a wide range of different things.
Yeah. So, because you've done a lot of even different kinds of, like, you even said, like, private commissions, like, with everything. So, like, from private commission, like, one-offs to, like, boards are based on anime to, the Lumen Key 60, the Pangea, the GI. Like, how do you approach each project with a different mindset? Or do you feel like there's a common thread that ties it all together for you?
Yeah, the common thread is kind of just the standard that I try to hold myself to. Like, when I design a keyboard, I want it to sound good, feel good, look good, and just kind of make sure everybody can have a build that they enjoy. So that's kind of the common thread, is just like making sure that it's a product that I'm happy with and I want to have my name attached to, But then, like, you kind of get more niche goals with a specific project. Like you mentioned, the Lumen Key 60. So that one was a new experience for me because it's like, okay, we want to make a keyboard that's going to be under $150. So it's like, how do we go from there? So, it's like making sure the manufacturability is efficient, so you're not wasting machine time and things like that. But then you go to like the Pangea and it's like, okay, we're going to focus on a really specific goal, and no matter what it takes to get there, we're doing it. So that's kind of how you end up with the different, such a range of different designs, different price points, different audiences. But I think that's kind of what makes it fun about it makes fun designing for me and also the hobby, because there's so many different ways you can go with it, but it's all still has the same underlying goal and same, you're still working on a keyboard.
Yeah. All right, so I feel like, we got to know you more, between like, my time with you talking about the Compact Ergo and the Pangea, and even just kind of some exciting future projects. I feel like Bowl Keyboards is someone I'm kind of getting, like, becoming more familiar. But I would love to hear a little bit more from Bowl in real life, not just Bowl Keyboards. Like, what do you do to relax, to chill, to unwind when you kind of need to take a break from keyboards and designing, just because like creative work takes a lot of energy, like, so a lot of times we got to do stuff to kind of help us reset, help us like to decompress. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so, well, like you already mentioned, I'm in school, so I got school and keyboards are taking up most of my like working time. But aside from that, like, I like to be outdoors. Being in the Midwest, there's lots of state parks and things to go hiking, local parks. Like, for example, like me and my buddies will go to the park and play some basketball or something like that. Also watching TV. Right now I'm finally working through watching Dexter. It's about time. I know I'm a little late to the train, but yeah, just relaxing. Pretty normal guy, I guess.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. Are there things that you're allowed to share about kind of stuff that's coming up in the future?
Yeah. So obviously Pangea group buy right now, and then Compact Ergo fulfillment will be around the end of this year. And then I don't know if it'll be before or after this video comes out, but the Gias and EEAT extras will be up in stock. And then still before the end of this year, we're going to be launching Pangea Mini, which is 60% with the same similar styling top frame and like overall theming. So that should have, the prototypes are being made right now, and then starting right at the start of next year, we're gonna have Oblique in stock at worldwide vendors. So those are quite a few leaks there for you.
So it sounds like you are shifting from the group buy to in-stock model.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about your thought process behind that.
Yeah, sure. So it kind of starts with working with STR and Vertex. So like, and Manu, it's kind of like, we know the hobby, people say the hobby's slowing down, but it's not really slowing down, I don't think. I mean, more keyboards are being sold every day than ever before. So it's kind of more, we have to adapt to how the market overall is changing, because, and it's true, like, I would much rather buy something in stock than wait 6 months. So we kind of want to be like, okay, we're listening to the trends, what people want. And so the recent trend has been kind of the budget boards that try to accommodate more people and have a lower price point, and those are all going in stock. So I think it's about time that the more like premium market follows. So that's what we're trying to do, to bring like good kits in stock in a large enough quantity where most people who are there can get one, like, because we don't want to be like gatekeepy. Yeah. But obviously there are limitations to how much we can put up front to in stock. But that's why we can do rolling in stock, multiple rounds, things like that. But yeah, we kind of want to focus on moving away from group buys and more to like a short-term pre-order or in stock. Because the nice thing about the pre-order is it lets us, it lets people pick what color they want, so then we can do the finishing after, so that we don't have like, if somebody really wanted one color but it's sold out, so now they're stuck with another one. But yeah, so we kind of want to focus on reducing lead time and delivery time to customers and just getting good kits out to people that want them.
Yeah. I mean, I love that because, like I feel like in the state of the hobby, I don't really think we're slowing down. I feel like we're kind of maturing, like, obviously we're not in the, the COVID 2020 boom. Yeah. But I do think the community is larger than it has ever been, and I think people, like you said, are wanting better, you know. So like for some, sales might be slowing down, but I don't think it's because there's not a demand there. I think more and more people are going like, hey, let's keep pushing the hobby forward, like instead of what we're doing in the past. So I love, like, you know, your push towards more of an in-stock model than just a group buy model, you know, because I think there's just so many benefits to that for the consumer side of things. So I love that, man. Keep up the good work on that, dude. Seriously.
Yeah, thanks. And there's a lot of vendors doing that also, and I think it's easy to kind of get, like we were talking about with the like rumor about like the hobby slowing down. I think it's easy to get kind of caught up in rumors and kind of lose sight of what we're here for. I mean, we're all just trying to type on a keyboard, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that like things like the drama and things they might be interesting, but I think it's more important to interact with everybody in a positive way and kind of be like, okay, yeah, we're all building keyboards. Like, that's really what we're here for.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Well, I look forward to your upcoming projects. I look forward to even just for us to talk even more about those.
Oh, definitely.
But yeah, I appreciate it. But until then, man, keep doing what you're doing. I love your designs. I love seeing all these projects in the pipeline. So I appreciate that you taking the time to talk today.
Of course, man. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. See you later.